Welcome to the March Blight Review Board meeting. We're going to try to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible for obvious reasons. So we're calling the meeting to order at 5:30. First item on the agenda is to review and approve the February meeting minutes. George sent those out. Does anyone have any comments on them? If none, could I have a motion to approve? Motion by Holly, second. David? All. Okay. Okay. Let's get right into the business. Bob has handed out an update, and we have our normal scorecard here. Bob, you want to go through these?
Yes, yeah, this will be quick. First one, case 1601. There's been no changes there. Last meeting, we talked about the possibility of using one of the options that were brought forth by our legal advisors about having the town go in and pick up the stuff, because it's all outside, it's not inside, as a potential of doing this. But that would have to go through, obviously have to go through legal. They'd have to serve notice on the property. So that's just something that's still out there. And for you to discuss when you feel it's warranted. We could go to case 17-011. Driven by there a few times. There's been no changes. I know the board pretty much gave them until April 1st before we discuss any other moves, so we'll discuss that further at the next Blight Review Board meeting. If you want to go ahead with an actual notice of blight violation. The case 17-019. Ally she's been in contact with Ally, and she finally, she said that she's going to start cleaning things up over there with the help of her sons and stuff. So, and this was just late last week?
I think it was Friday, Thursday or Friday.
Okay, so we'll give a look for that. With that, we can.
Is there a time limit that they provided, or saying when they'll start having it cleaned?
I didn't get into details with her, but she said that they received a notice and that she and her sons are gonna start working on it.
Okay, which is good. Let's see.
So, okay, I see it. She confirmed the certified mail.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's great.
Not officially yet. I haven't got the card back, but she talked to Ally, so that's good. She knows she's got it. Okay. The case of 18-004. There's nothing. Nothing new. I don't know if they've actually done anything with regards to serving.
Well, everybody got copied on the email from the lawyers, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've served it. They basically said it's in their hands now. They and the town will take care of it unless there's some form of appeal that we need to appear at as far as support that the town is dealing with.
Okay. All right, very good. Case 18-005. The house is vacant. I've gotten some correspondence from the owner who says that he is going to start cleaning out the front of this property, all the overgrown, everything. This is 18-005.
Oh, that's 130 West Avenue. Yeah.
Or closer.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said he is going to start having, come springtime, have the front cleared out.
Okay.
But it is a vacant house anyway. Let's see. Case 18-008. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. All right, that was a yellow. Just to let I guess that just as kind of like a progress report. I guess they
Where are we now? 17-005?
18-008.
It's yellow the next.
It's
Oh,
yellow,
the
the
next
second
one.
next,
Okay.
yeah, sorry. it's an update, that's been, I guess the person's been evicted, I don't know exactly when the date is, but lawyers have come to an agreement with regards to what's in the house. A very, nice for the town, doesn't have to store any of this stuff, they're gonna keep it in place there. It's just an update to let you know what's
Oh,
going on.
great, okay.
The eviction officially happened 2 weeks ago Friday,
Oh.
whatever that date was, and then this Friday, they have a 15-day period where the belongings are stored. In this case, they're staying in the house, and then after that, the bank who owns it now will be able to dispose of it.
Okay, which is,
So that's Friday.
yes,
But that doesn't include the vehicles, right? The issue
Yes.
with-
yes, I believe it does, yes.
Yeah,
Everything.
there's 3 vehicles that
They
the
either
state
figured
marshal
out,
said would be impounded.
okay, so they'll just impound them and worry about who owns them later.
Yeah, I didn't get into the details, all I know is the marshal tells me.
Yeah.
As long as they're removed,
Yeah.
that's all we
Yes.
care.
That's
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
package.
All right.
Okay, 20, case number 20-001. I guess, I don't know if this happened before or after the last meeting. 800, okay, that's the one where the back of the house, it's kind of an abandoned construction or renovation. The back of the house has kind of been taken off and tarped over for a couple of years now. It's falling down and there's cats and stuff like that going in there. Have not heard anything back from them as of yet, but it's new, it's a fresh.
Okay.
But it's occupied? Or it's
No,
vacant?
no, it's vacant, yes, it's vacant, okay. Let's see, and the last one, case 17-005. It is, it's at the bottom of the page, it's in yellow. Now, I just need some advice with this. I've done nothing on this. This was abated or taken care of before I started. And it was in the files as completed. There's really nothing much has changed there. But I did receive another complaint today from a neighbor. And he sent in pictures of abandoned, damaged car that's still there, a whole bunch of other stuff that's been covered with tarps, and it was given to me as completed, and I didn't really want to, say anything, but technically speaking, we're not allowing covered stuff to be considered a remediation for a blight violation, as far as I understand. And there's a lot of stuff there and a lot of stuff, and there is an abandoned, broken down vehicle that's there as well.
Is the tenant still there, the same one that you've
I was
dealt
just gonna
with?
say that the tenant that I dealt with just moved to Stamford a few weeks ago, but I believe her spouse, whether it's ex or current, is still living there. So the woman that we had worked with is no
Mhm.
longer there.
Okay,
And her son,
Just
no
she
kids
and
there.
her children moved.
they're all moved. Okay, so now this is just,
I believe, I don't know, this is just what she told me, so I believe that the husband might be living there, I'm not quite sure, but the woman that we worked with and her adult son to help fix the problems are no longer there.
but the
So-
husband doesn't own it, right?
No, it's a rented property, so the
Yeah.
landlord is still the landlord, who, before we were dealing with the landlord and the tenant.
We were dealing
That
with the
tenant is
landlord.
gone.
The landlord came to one of the meetings, and I'd have to go back and look at, what was in the minutes of how that went.
I think there was talk about sending him a letter, and he, if I remember correctly, something,
He
to the
said
effects that he didn't care?
he didn't care, we can send
Not
The
him.
landlord-
quoting,
the
yeah,
landlord?
don't quote, I'm not quoting him, but
No,
that was the
I-
gist.
No, but ultimately.
That was the gist.
Yeah, but ultimately,
It's the landlord.
Right,
and ultimately, they were sent a notification. So
Yes.
I think if you go back in the files, you'll find where they were given a notification. I think you should inspect the property again, because there was a lot, it may look bad now, I haven't driven by there recently, but they did clean a lot of stuff off that property.
Yes, and that's why, looking at it now, I don't think his photos that he sent, I mean, there were a few things, but the majority of what I can tell is really the north side of the property, the north side of the house,
Okay.
which has the whole bunch of stuff that's tarped and where the vehicle is. The other side is, it's a little unkempt, but it's not.
It's a mess.
It's a
got-
mess, but it's,
You mean up on the
Logs.
hill where
It's
they
like-
always said there was
yeah.
a landlord stuff?
Yeah,
right here,
they've
the
got a
construction
log
vehicles or
splitting
something.
apparatus.
yeah, exactly,
It's pretty much of an eyesore.
So
Yeah.
the things you're talking about, were they part of the violation from a few years ago, or are they things that have gotten worse in the last couple of years?
I think they cleared the initial violations,
Yeah.
got it to the point where there weren't sufficient violations to continue the active path we were on. But there's nothing to say we cannot go back if it's relapsed, because
Okay.
it was in bad shape. And
They
I
did
mean-
make a lot of progress, but yeah.
yeah, but it sounds like they
Yeah.
just,
I would vote for a reinvestigation as well, because, I'm relatively new with the board, but we've been sort of enforcing the tarping is not a remedy concept since I've been on the board. And if tarping is one of the things that's primarily helping this property, we may have to take another look at it.
yeah, I think I would, you moved it on the watch list. I would definitely reinspect.
Yeah.
And again, I'm positive we went through at least 2 letters in the
Yeah.
stage.
Okay. Like I said, I'm just
He came to the
saying,
meeting.
Oh, yeah,
no,
Yeah, he was,
yeah, I apologize.
no, I just remember going through it all with
Well,
him.
he
Yeah.
basically said he couldn't touch any of the
Right.
stuff on the property because it wasn't his. He had had legal advice, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. Well, after he got the next certification letter, he knew we were serious about it. But it sounds like now that the woman, the first tenant has moved out, which was a big problem too, that, we need to go back after it. Especially, and David's absolutely right, if all they're doing is just using tarps to cover it
Cover it
up,
up.
that's not sufficient.
Right.
As a matter of fact, in some cases, that may make it worse when you think about rats and vermin and all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
some big
Well, we
blue
just need to
thing.
be consistent in how we apply that
Yeah,
policy.
I agree with
right?
you
Yeah.
100%.
You know,
I agree.
Okay.
that's the only fair thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's the last one, yes. But on another note, there was a property that had been sold and has been remodeled, and the people that 18006, it's on page 2. Just, I should have taken a picture of it because they cleared out the whole front of the house
Who did that?
with, the trees, the bushes, everything is gone. And it just looks so much like brighter over there. It looks good. I may take a picture just to.
Can I ask a dumb new guy question?
Sure.
We sort of skipped over quickly 1600Y. I guess my question is, if this has been going on for 4 years, or 3.5 years anyway, why are we not doing more about it?
In a nutshell, we have not been able to locate the owner. We had done some things with the property. We were able to get, we went to the mortgage company, the lender, and they came in and spray painted the house to make it look better, and then was
They were sued by
served
the owner,
by-
by the owners for making unauthorized changes in work on their property. So the lawyers now have been, they went through tax records, they were going through utility records to try to establish who actually owns it. This is the one where they don't, their mailbox gets filled up because they won't accept, there's no mail gets cleaned up. So, but this is one that, you're right, it's been lingering, and the problem has been exactly that. The lawyers finally, well, we talked, no, it wasn't last meeting, 2 meetings ago. They were gonna do more thorough searches and try to make a decision about whether or not to turn it over to the town.
Right,
If
and-
there's a mortgage on the property, we can't leverage the mortgage company to ascertain?
That's my question. The mortgage company must be getting payment
Because
from
unless the
someone.
mortgage is held in the name of an LLC, which has its mailing address as a PO box, you know,
In some foreign country.
there should be some trail to an individual somehow, right?
We, and especially we, the lawyers, have contacted the mortgage company, and I'm totally assuming that they raised exactly all of those issues,
And
and
we must not be legally allowed to,
I don't know, but.
But isn't the mortgage on the town records to know who holds the, well, I guess it's who holds the mortgage, but it wouldn't say who the mortgagee is?
Yeah,
The name.
it does, has the name, but the address is the address
Is
of
the
the
house
property.
the rest of the
who
house?
pays the taxes?
The bank, I
The
think.
mortgage.
I think it
Yeah, I
comes
think
from
the
the
mortgage
mortgage.
company does.
Because
So,
2 years-
So unless we find out who makes the payments to the
Right.
bank, it doesn't happen.
And then, like, 2 years ago, they were behind in their taxes, and apparently at least decided that was important enough to catch up on. But,
The bank did. The
yeah.
bank saw it as important. Catch up on it.
yeah, I will, again, I've got a list of things that are pending that the Wayne Fox and Bobby are working on.
Okay.
And this is one of the items, because it's been in their hands for a couple of months at least.
So
But, yeah, it's not logical, it just doesn't make sense.
my personal vote would be is if there is a way for the town
To
to
intervene.
send public works onto the property and remove enough of the stuff to remediate the situation,
Yeah.
I would be for it.
Is that an option
Public
that we
Works
have
is not
available
allowed
to
to
us?
go onto their property.
Well, I'm just
That's what I'm
saying, Bob mentioned that the lawyers would have to be involved to ascertain what we can and cannot do.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to move the ball in that direction, to
Right.
ask the lawyers, hey, we're at the point, we're ready to do something, can we? What can we do?
I mean, it's been 3.5 years.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it's, you know, it's time, time, right? This is not a case of, you know, a mental situation or some
Right.
other type of thing where we have to tread more lightly, right?
Well, I will follow up, I'll email them tonight and then give them a call tomorrow. Because, I mean, they know all the facts, they have all the information. And we had asked them before, is there some way that the town can take independent action?
Right.
If, you know, what's the process? So
Well,
I'll repeat that
it's
again.
probably just become the non-squeaky item in the pile that's 500 deep. So sometimes you just have to make it the
Yeah.
squeaky item
Okay,
again.
well, I will make it squeaky.
Excellent.
That's
Anything
all.
else, Bob?
No.
Our next meeting in April is scheduled a week later than normal because there's a Jewish holiday, the previous one. I will try to keep alert as to what the town is doing, but there may be a ban on non-essential meetings, and my guess is we would not be considered to be an essential meeting. So I will let you know. I went out, I was on the site today, and if you haven't been out there, you should go look and see, because Jamie's they're starting to put some stuff in action here, so.
Yeah, and my understanding from just when I was leaving the house is that the town of New Canaan has closed the schools for 2 weeks, and there is a Board of Education meeting tonight, so, for our town, so, you know, stay tuned for what the status
Yeah.
of public meetings will be.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that there was an individual in New Canaan, 90-year-old gentleman, who's been tested as positive, and there's a rumor that he went to the New Canaan Y. So I don't know, you know, that may not mean anything for us. I'm not sure that that's been confirmed, but.
Well,
I recently read that there was the case in New Canaan, and it was someone who contracted it locally, not from anyone who's traveled from out there. I didn't know what was 90, I didn't know any of that detail, but.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same individual.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah, it's public.
the Connecticut chief medical officer was just on television as I was leaving and said, yes, there is a, and they have not as yet, as of that time, been able to connect it to contact, but they're,
We've moved our whole we have 2,500 people locally that we've just moved to work from home a week ago.
yeah,
And only essential people in the buildings, and locked everyone's badges out other than that. about 100 people of critical staff.
Yeah.
Well, I think
What site
we're
were you
outside
at?
the purview, so maybe I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yes. Move to adjourn.
Good.